This is TCR, TroyCommunityRadio.com. I'm Clint Myers on 107.1 WTJN, and time now for the Mayor's Report. And with me this morning, Mayor Michael Beamish. Good morning.
Well, good morning, Clint. And as I always say, good morning, David, and good morning to all the people listening there. Beautiful day.
Another busy week here in Troy. A lot of things have been happening. Just Wednesday, you and I both were over at the Hobart School of Welding. They had their dedication of their new building and their renovations.
You know, they added the new building, and that is kind of for recertification. But we all know the Hobart Institute of Welding Technology is world class.
Absolutely.
They have a high employment rate from the training that they received there. And this was just another opportunity for them to move into the future and provide a new wing that'll help with bringing people back, professionals in the field to come and retrain. It's
all right.
Great. And we had a good time, didn't we?
Well, absolutely. Well, we had the big giant grill out there doing the hot dogs for everybody. And welders make extremely good money.
It's one of those professions you're always going to need, and welding is a skilled trade.
Absolutely.
That you need to have world-class training, and more training, the better the training, the better your chances of having a livelihood and a need that's out there. And I want to thank Troy Community Radio. You know, I've said this before, but both you and David and the whole team of Troy Community Radio really get out into the community, and they promote the finest parts of our community. And this past Wednesday is just one of those parts that you were involved in. So a big thank you.
We do the best that we can do. Also, Friday, Riverside was doing their community picnic as well, hamburgers and hot dogs, and they were accepting things for the family abuse shelter. So they're celebrating their 50 years of being in service with their week of service that goes through the 21st.
Well, you know, that just goes to show you what we say many times. Troy is what Troy is because of partnerships.
Yes.
And people get involved and organizations get involved, and they not only do it for their own entity, but they tend to do it for the community, which benefits everyone.
All right. You had council this past week.
We did have council. It was only a couple of resolutions on the agenda, but they were both pretty important. One is to authorize an application with the Ohio Public Works Commission for funds that would allow us to continue doing some street projects, and this one would be in the Riverside Drive area. It would be their phase 2. And here's the thing. People think it's going to happen right away because this was emergency legislation. But there's deadlines for those applications to be in, and it doesn't mean you're going to get the funds that minute. It usually takes a year, 2 years down the pipeline before you find out if those funds are available. But if you don't apply, you have no way.
Yeah. When the funds become available, they're already going to be gone if you don't apply now.
Absolutely. And the council obviously sees that, knows that as long as we can continue to get outside funding, it just helps us with our budgets to get things done in the community. That was number one resolution. There was another resolution as we continue to improve our sidewalk areas and walkways. One of the things that we have to do is a resolution of necessity to show, and that allows residents to look at doing the work if it's marked on their sidewalk, that they can go find somebody else to do it and work out a price. Or we can send you what we think it's going to cost, and if you want to discuss it, our city staff's available, and we can even do the work and bill it out to you over real estate taxes for a period of time.
Okay.
So, but we have to keep moving forward, and the problem is we have to find different sections of our town for those necessities for the sidewalk portion. So that was the second piece of legislation. It was passed unanimously. Again, trying to keep our community moving forward and looking good.
Well, it's got to keep moving forward or those wheels will stop turning and we'll slide down the hill backwards.
Well, there's always going to be accidents. You could trip, fall, but if we can minimize those opportunities,
absolutely,
it's a safety feature as well.
Now, when you have council, do people come out and voice about areas that they feel that need some work?
Well, we always hear a lot of times it's street work.
Okay.
And we've done a lot of patching and a lot of just general maintenance work, but sometimes the whole section, as we've talked about, McKeag's a good example.
Right.
How we phase that in and we keep moving down McKeag to get the roadway with infrastructure underneath fixed up, as well as the streets, so it makes it smooth. Kind
of like you pointed out there, sometimes it's just the street, and sometimes you've got to start under the street before you can even do the street.
And a lot of people don't realize we do try to work together as utilities. If we're going to tear up a street, let's do it one time, not three or four.
Right.
And even though we may have line breaks, water breaks, and you're going to have those things, but what you do is try to think ahead and say, if we're going to do something with the street, let's check the utilities underneath, and if we can replace all that at one time, that's just smart business.
It does not make sense to come in and resurface a street and then
tear it all up.
2 months later they're digging holes to replace a water main or a gas line or something.
And emergencies do happen.
Exactly.
And sometimes we have different kinds of situations that require us to have to go in there and do some extra maintenance. But the idea is we're trying to be forward thinking when we do these projects, to think down the road and include all the utilities that might be within that street project or sidewalk project.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. I mean, you don't want to do the street more than once because you had to get back in and do something else.
Yeah.
So all in good time, and it comes in its own layers, I guess you would say.
And it shows fiscal stewardship with taxpayer dollars. We're trying to think combining efforts. It's, again, going back, what Troy is for is partnerships, working together.
All right. We've heard a lot about the MKS Case Study, and, of course, we've seen a lot of movement on the Riverfront development.
It's an initiative that came out of the community America's Best Communities Initiative, and we as a steering committee got together and said, even though we didn't make it into the finals, we did get to the quarterfinals, but it let us know that there were some things that we put in as initiatives that we needed to keep moving forward. One of them is Downtown Riverfront Project Initiative, which ties in our downtown with our river, a beautiful river, and a park system that goes along the river. So,
absolutely.
So that's the initiative that is being pursued. Now, a lot of people think that's a city of Troy only initiative.
This is the riverfront development starts at the top of Ohio and goes to the bottom of Ohio.
Well, it does, and it takes a lot of working together. And in Troy, we've been blessed. We've had Main Street on board. We've had the Chamber of Commerce, the Troy Development Council. Our foundations have supported this initiative. They put money into a pot, which allowed us to hire a consulting firm that is an expert in this area that helps us to look for vision for the future, bringing downtown into, because I always say that's a living room of our community.
You got it.
We want to protect the downtown, but also utilize our resources with the umbrella is we're trying to establish a strong workforce possibility for our business and industries who continue to ask us, we need workers. We got the jobs, we need the people. So everything we're trying to do with this initiative is to try to bring amenities, quality of life features that might draw younger folks as well as older folks into our community to stay, to live, to play, to work, and raise a family. So that's the idea about it. But I do want to say a lot of people think it's just the city of Troy. We are a partner in a bigger, we have even entrepreneurs that have put their own financial treasures into this pot because they believe in what we're trying to accomplish here. And there are a lot of concepts. Now, why I say that to you, Clint, is because I want to invite people, even if you're concerned about what you're hearing. We have a public hearing meeting that's going to be taking place on January 22nd, January. Wow, I wish. But anyway, it's July 27th. Again, I'll say July 27th at the First Place Center, Christian Center, which is right behind the City Hall and right in front of the Methodist Church. They will have a public hearing where the steering committee members will be present. They'll have storyboards so people can see what ideas are being presented, and they'll have a presentation for anybody that wants to listen. Provide ideas, solutions, ideas for how we can maybe tweak some things. But the idea is just to look at these concepts. They're not ones, and this is what I think a lot of people think, we're going to do this all at once. There are so many ideas being bounced out there that we're going to have to stretch this out over a period of years. So what we're trying to get from the public is what's the most important priorities, what could be the best implementation in the near to the farther future for the city of Troy. So
and a lot of these things are trial runs. It's essentially you're sticking your toe in the water to see how some of these ideas would work.
Clint, you couldn't have said it any better, and that's what we're trying to do. You saw about a week or so ago, we had a concert on North Cherry Street. Well attended. In fact, it was packed like sardines in there. People were standing. And the idea was, let's see if that could be a venue and keep and continue to use Prouty Plaza. So they put some picnic tables out there, try to encourage people to come out and just sit and relax and watch the ambiance of downtown. Just different things. Doesn't mean it's going to be there forever.
Well, and as a matter of fact, you saying that, there were quite a few surveys that were handed out.
Absolutely.
So that you could get the opinions and the feedback from folks. There's one thing to say, I don't want to do that. And that's a bad idea. And then there's also the, you know what, let's try it. And let's see how it really works and how it affects how things move.
Well, trial and error. Think of all the inventions that the world has seen. Has all been trial and error. There's been failures, and there's been successes.
Edison didn't start with the light bulb the first time out of the gate. There were well over 100 failures before he had success.
But I would encourage everybody to come to these public meetings where the steering committee can present what the findings are to date and talk about priorities, talk about the concepts, and get your input as to what you think might improve our Troy. And I will tell you, MKSK people have said most of the jurisdictions they go into are in trouble. They're trying to raise them up. In Troy, they start in with a blessed community that has a lot of resources, a lot of quality of life amenities, and they're just trying to enhance the city of Troy. Right. In the eyes of people, again, to try to draw people into our community, into our county, into our region, to accept the jobs that we do have available.
Now, one of the things, and we've heard this, I think we've heard this for years in Troy, and it's about parking, but that is also something that is being investigated as well. Yeah,
parking has always been brought up, and they've come up with some ideas to enhance parking issues and try to make it a little more appealing to people. And one of them is just to throw out a concept, not going to be, this isn't gospel, but they're looking at maybe a walkway bridge over the scenic Great Miami River from, say, Hobart Arena, which has a lot of parking, and a walkway kind of shows the view of downtown. And you get into the downtown where we have great stores, small businesses, and restaurants. So connect the dots. And that has a lot of merit and has received a lot of public attention in what I've seen as a positive feature. But we need more input. So come out July 27th, First Place, 7:30. It usually runs till about 8:30. And share and listen and provide some input.
If people just want to be an armchair complainer and say, sit at home and say, well, I don't like that. Well, you can get out and let your voice be heard. You come to council, you show up to the council meetings, and like you say, this your planning meeting that you have, that people can come out, and it isn't the gossip that you're hearing. You can come and get it straight from essentially City Hall of what's happening.
And we, on our webpage, we also have the whole reports to date that MKSK has provided us with. So it shows slides, it shows information, shows the research that's been done, shows the many people who have already contributed. A lot of people think, well, it's just a small little group of people making all this. Well, no. In fact, there's a lot of partners, and then there's a lot of public people who have given their ideas and input to formulate this consultant study that will guide us into the future. So
I know I've seen the MKS case study that it's been shared online on social media. So
absolutely,
folks have the opportunity. This isn't anything hidden, or it's right out there for everyone to read and see. And to be able to be in the know of what's happened. Yes.
And what I keep saying, and it's not just a City of Troy initiative. This is America's Great Community Initiative on the Riverfront and the downtown. And it's a lot of partners. A lot of different organizations have joined in to making sure that Troy stays viable, productive, and a place to go.
Well, it's just knowing that we're always looking to the future.
Thank you.
All right. National Night Out, speaking of the future, that's going to be coming up here pretty quick.
Yep, a little different. If you noticed in the past years, sometimes we've had big events at the community park, even had it originally downtown, and it just grew in size. And maybe it lost its role as to provide a neighborhood safety awareness ideas and programming. So our school resource officers have put together what they call their National Night Out, which is still be the National Day of Tuesday, August the 1st, from 7 to 10. But what they would like to see us do in neighborhoods around Troy is gather your friends and neighbors together, and they will be available. They will provide ideas, suggestions to discuss, but it's all about safety awareness, neighborhood watch, helping each other out. And that's the intent of National Night Out, is to work with the police department, our law enforcement, and our first responders in providing the best, safest environment we can. So it's going to be a different role. We're going to try to do it in neighborhoods. If you're interested or you have somebody in the neighborhood who wants to promote this, all you have to do is call the Troy Police Department, ask for one of our resource officers, and they would also guide you and give you ideas. And from what I understand, we'll be willing to stop out and make a little presentation.
Now, when we had them up with Sue Knight, and they were talking that these will be like block parties.
That's the best way. Yes.
Community block parties for your neighborhood. And I see the benefits of this because in today's day and age, you don't necessarily know everybody on your block, not like it was when I was a kid. Not you didn't know what door was going to open up and who was going to catch you doing what as a little kid. But, you know, everyone kept an eye on everyone else's kids. It made it safer. You knew that, you know, who lived to your left and to your right. And neighborhoods were a lot closer then. And I think it's something that some folks have gotten away from. Hopefully that this will bring it back and tie it in, too, with the police and knowing that we all need to work together for that safety.
Well, Clint, you said it very good. It's, again, an opportunity to bring a neighborhood, a true sense of community together in the small groups that are the people that live right around you. And if everybody's helping everybody, that makes for a safer community. So I, again, say call our Troy Police Department if you're interested in hosting one of those neighborhood block parties, and let them guide you and help you as to how to make that productive.
All right. Some things coming up in our near future. Of course, the Lucky Lemonade concerts going on down at the Hainer. It's always a great time. And what I like about the Lucky Lemonade concerts, it's summertime. So sometimes you get the showers. Normally they do them in the courtyard, but if it rains, they take them up in the ballroom.
Yep. You know, they have it's a great treasure of Troy, and it has so many opportunities. And so it's just a nice another thing that people have an opportunity to participate in.
Absolutely. And speaking of participating, Streets Alive will be at the end of this month, the 28th.
Always something going on. And that, again, will be in downtown Troy. And hopefully people will come participate and support their small businesses in downtown.
All right. Yeah, the shops are open a little bit later. There, you got entertainers out on the street. So plenty to see and do when you come down for Streets Alive, the end of the month. And Mayor, I'm going to add one more thing here this morning, and it's for folks to put on their calendar the annual Mayor's Concert.
Oh, yes. That's going to take place in August, as it was, and it kind of goes as a package with the Festival of Nations, where we celebrate the diversity of our community. That's over there, over the levee by the stadium, and call it International Village. But it's a wonderful opportunity. And then that following Sunday, we have Dayton Philharmonic Orchestra and Chorus. They come in and put on a dynamic show. And gosh, it's when we do close down the whole entire downtown because of the crowds that we expect for those kind of shows.
I mean, you put on a heck of a show for that. This is the 25th annual Mayor's Concert this year.
That's right, and I've had opportunity to lead his honors march, Fillmore's honors march, so I always enjoy that.
Now, how much practice do you put in with the baton?
I have a magic baton, and whatever the magic baton does is what I'll be doing. And I'm not a conductor. I don't present myself as one. In fact, I'm not even a great musician. My wife teaches me all that side of things, but I enjoy doing that. It's fun because I represent not only the community, but I represent all the mayors, past and current, throughout Miami County, and it's just an opportunity for all of us to look back, enjoy, but remember where we have been and where we are heading.
All right, Mayor, I think you said it best. Thank you so much. This has been the Mayor's Report with Mayor Michael Beamish. I'm Clint Myers on 107.1 WTJN.